divine moment of now, divine moment of unraveling of mystery, of coming to see what's really to be, because that's what our right now. Don't you see? Oh, it's Koyote through and through here on the Koyote Medicine Show, only on the Hazy Radio Network. How else would you wrap up your old year but on the Koyote Medicine Show, getting that glow, so you know the new year's already here and you don't have to wait. You can party right now. You can celebrate. You got life, babies. Returning to your puzzles and corpuscles, your muscles and your bustles and your flips and your gizzards and all that stuff, man. It's all coming back to the genuine nature of being. It's all reformating itself inside of itself in accordance to the blueprint, the divine pattern of the heart, and not so much by anybody else's blueprint will it be. This is a complete change then in the way we live and express and be within our humble little carcass, this temple, this vessel of love, this temple of truth, this divine manifestation of real love in this reality. That's what each of us has become in this moment. That's what we've always been. That's what we always are. It's consistent within us no matter how we've perceived it or lived it otherwise. That's the soul journey. The soul always held consistent to the heart and never let go. Though it seemed to many times over. It's the one thing that held us together, babies. And we get little reminders of it here and there through history, and babies, it just sweetened the pot and kept us going. You know, the general brew from which we all were growing. And here's to you, babies, a fine salute for all the generations of love and time that we've put in here. May it always be honored and valued and deeply respected the way it is now, you know, in this moment in time. You know, may it always be held in such high regard. May we always give homage to those moments when we became such worse than the savage beasts and more cruel than the darkest of beings, man. You know, we just ugly, ugly, ugly because we like to be bugly. But see, I'm a person that's lived both extremes. I know the realities of those two extremes. I do. I know the polarities of them too. So do you, because if I've lived them, you have too. See, our experience is very reflective, one of the other, you know. And this is how we get down off of our cross, by seeing the equity in it all. You see, there is not truthfully polarity. It's, remember the triangulation, the triad, the three points of life. There is the centering point from which the triangle extends itself, and who can say which point that might be? It depends on which way the point is pointing, don't it? And then if there's just floating around in space, which direction is that? You know, if it doesn't have a reference point of earth and sky, what does it have? It's any direction it wants to be. It's any point that it wants to be, you see. Earth gives it definition. She becomes the centering point. Creation comes in as she extended herself out in that other two ways, that other two directions that made the triangle complete, the triad. And then she went that way with it, and then that way with it, and built the pyramid. And then the tetrahedron. See, it all matches them with the natural numbers, the family numbers that we talk about coming forward from that first human being that lived, from which all life still extends and grows. Same way we extend our life through her into this reality so that we can be, you know, again, birth of her in each lifetime. And it's to her that we return at the completion of that lifetime, when we go through the whole loop of the circle of the dream and come back. Guess what? Pass right back through that mother energy into the light. A lot of you remember that. You've seen it happen. You've lived it in this lifetime. You've gone there and come back. You know what it's really like. You know who's really there, and it's you. Me too. It's all of us. No one's held above another. If one hasn't made it, then no one's made it. If all are away from it and one goes there, then all have gone there. You see, and they're not away from anything. It's the extent, the nature. We can extend our collective consciousness into the figurement of one being, if that's the way we seek to choose our empowerment, you see. And there's no harm within that. There's no judgment or anything. That's just the way the recipe worked in that particular environment. That end of the point took its position at that time in the triad of love, you see, and became the performer of that lifetime and did right well with it. Thank you very much. But the recognition is in the performance and the appreciation thereof, a gaining of the great ground from believing in such crazy shit and living it. And then coming away from it clean, alive and awake in the heart, more so than you ever were before, to rise up in your majesty of humanity, despite the kind of silly things you did while you're stumbling around the dark, old Magoo. See, each of us reaches our point of enlightenment at just the right time, in just the right way, under just the right circumstances. We provided that for ourselves in the beginning of time. And there's a great releasing, letting go, and it's going to be letting go all day long and into the nighttime too. So this transformation takes hold. These old energies are retraining themselves. The body's becoming at ease within itself, within the vibrational harmony that it is, Yeah, and it will de-densify itself. Like I say, inside right now, there's all kinds of major overhaul going on. And this will continue. Just expect it, If you feel those feelings, just know that they're there to be released. If it's antagonizing, if it's expansive, it's there to be enhanced and participated in. However this energy may be in a moment, recognize it all is expansion. It all is the return home to our heart, and as a result, to our natural paradise. There's a gathering of the family going on in the heart realm right now that will solidify itself in this presence of reality, because we've all called for it. And the blood of the generations calls for it too, through our blood, and the blood of our children too. We're all coming together now, each and every being that is. And the persons of this family first and foremost, and then the person of the larger family, which is all of us. It's a replicating thing. It comes out in what you would see of as waves and levels, but really it's not. It's just how the wave rolls toward the shore, and it affects this part of the ocean, then that part, then that part. It moves. So it expands again like the good old donut, the spiral torus. It starts with a central core, starts to flow outwards, and just keep flowing outwards and expanding, and growing, till the big donut is everywhere and everything. Merry New Year, everybody. Long may you wave and never be a slave again to any kind of passion or pain, but only to the heart, wherein is the great gain. Yeah, we know better now, but guess what? We still appreciate that kind of journey, and it doesn't mean we're going to go completely away from it. Shit, kids. It's a flexible reality, You can live in paradise and still play dice. That's why I make fun of it. And life has been a crapshoot. It really has, but guess what? We came into the game with loaded dice, and our loaded dice stayed in. Every time we rolled, it came out 7, man. Of course, we go through all kinds of sweat and confrontation inside in the meantime, because we didn't really believe in the dice. But every time, old Magoo, you came through. And we rolled that natural again and again and again. And babies, everybody in the hall had a great big grin. You own the frickin' casino, and the stars above it, and the streets below it, and everything. You got it all, babies. It's yours. It's yours to do with what you will. It's yours now to play with. From the very natural nature of your heart, you're free now to experience as you will have it. It can go any direction it wants to go, but it will never again go in those vile ways, because we've already done that. Onto a new level, a new experience in the game of life. Simple as that. There's your transformation and your reality and your truth speaking to you from your own frickin' heart. How about that, man? Is that off the chart? I think it's life as a living art. That's what I think it is. I think it's something we fucking love and that we embrace like crazy. Why do you think we like music like Deacon Blues, man? Yeah, why? Because we can surely relate to that. How do you think we raised our consciousness up out of the slime pit of hell. How do you think we did that? Well, in the first place, we never really did go into the slime pits of hell, yet there we were. So how did we come back out of that place we weren't at? How do we remember ourselves back into the presence? By never forgetting it. Burying it so damn deep inside of ourselves you wouldn't even know it was there. And covering it over with a hardness such as you've never seen. A pain that was deep, deep, deep. But it was just a way of keeping ourselves alive through the worst of the torments. It just put it away in a place where it couldn't be found. Where you wouldn't go because that was where the terror was. That's where the fear was. That's where everything nasty was, So we just put it away in there and hid it good, man. And we got it through the generations. We never really gave it up. It's steady within us all through it, You can call it the mother's love if you want. You can call it your own self-love. You can call it the love of the universal heart. You can call it the love of God. For whatever you want to do. Call it what you will. Be it. That's the important thing. See, because we've come through the veil, the mystery of the veil, the density of the darkness, because we recognize the eternal nature of our union inside, that there is no division. It's just merry old Jane easing our pain, saying, baby, see, I've always been here for you. I never went away. That was you that thought you went away. Good mama never loses sight of you. Neither does your daddy either. And so we say here on the Koyote channel of love, babies, the Coyote Medicine Show, here on the Hazy Radio Network, babies, the rockin'est network around, the happiest time you ever found. Here we got the universal DJ who turns out to be a coyote clown. Well, how about that? Big frown, big smile. Hey, babies, we do it in style. Whatever we do it for you, with you, through you. Oh, never to you, babies. And it's never done to us either, man. It's always active participation in the engagement of the love and reality in which we live, a conscious presence indeed, that wraps its arms around itself and says, wow, I kind of like this shit. It's getting better all the time. So says Grandpa here in this moment of divine perception here on the Hazy Radio Network. Oh, your host, you know who, saying, wow, how about that? We ain't even started yet. We ain't even through. And babies, we already broke the barriers. How about that? Wow. In your role, the role that's in your soul, the love that's in your heart, just got a brand new start, courtesy of ELO, right here on the Coyote Medicine Show, where but on the Hazy Radio Network, babies, the rockin'est network you ever found, since old Grandpa Coyote is here to be found. Yes, indeed, that old hog of a hound, that skinny little shit that thinks he's a clown, the universal DJ, yes, indeed, that, wow, lights your fire, fills your heart with sweet desire, and then fulfills the desire that with the sweetness too, babies. When you're done with Coyote, you're never ever through, babies, and you're never ever blue, and you're always in your heart very, very true, right from the word go, babies. You're in the flow, and this is what you know, and this is what you be, because old Grandpa Coyote comes up and says, hey, baby, you's free. You've been running around slavery when you didn't need to be. Now, babies, we know it comes naturally. It's our reward for having driven that Chevy and that Ford, that Cadillac and that Model A, and on the old horse. Oh, did we ever play, man. The horse's heart is still with us strong, and babies, that's what this year has been. The year of the horse, man. We got no remorse. We've been steady all the way through it. Of course. And look to where it led, babies. It ain't our heart that bled. This time, it's those that were out of their head. Man, and they've come back too. Inside, babies, just take that sweet ride. Just get on the heart and go with the flow, man. Ride it slow. Ride it easy, you know. This trail that we're journeying on is meant to be enjoyed. There's a texture, there's color, there's nature, there's reality. There's love to be had here, and lots of it. Love to be made, love to be promulgated into this existential reality in the form of new forms of creation. It's the divine experience of creation. held there in integration now, inside of yourself, all parts integrating, falling into place like pieces in a puzzle, man, and the picture of the divine is coming clear inside of you, dear. Yes, indeed. I don't care who you are, where you've been, what you've been up to. Now is your moment. This is our time. Our time. Together we are united now, consciously, in this heart. And this is just the beginning, a great start, man. We got to go from here. Oh, yeah, and that's real clear. We can take it anywhere we want to go. And, baby, it's going to be joyful no matter what we do. Because we're content now, and we're finding that contentment. It's coming on strong. You know, I look at my little MJ cup, my new little Mary Jane Gateway to Paradise cup with its bold little Coyote Medicine Show logo emblazoned upon it as well. But I see the essential truth of all of this. Mary Jane Gateway to Paradise. Now, and there's a marijuana leaf, you know, lightly emblazoned over her countenance and all that. So you understand the energy of the message, you see, which is that Mary energy is in everything. You know, we concentrated in a plant, a sacred herb. We participate in one way or another, and that helps us awaken and arise. You know, there's no harm in expanding your consciousness through natural means such as these that are provided from the earth, from the Mary energy of the earth. You see, Gaia means Mother Mary. That's the same word. So is Sarah. They're all the same word, the same meaning. They have the same root source in the heart of love. You see? And Mary is actually a description of the happiness we felt when we first stepped forward from the ocean of love and became life living upon the land, walking as a biped, and feeling it. Unity with the soil and everything that sprang forward from it. All of us. And from the oceans of love arose the grandest forms of life to be ever in history, you know, because there was, you know, wow, there was time for it now. We could go into this thing called time and we could experience real slow and exquisitely enjoy every moment of it. Not realizing, of course, what passions that might unleash within us, man. We didn't know our hearts very well when we began this journey. We thought we did. We thought we were solid within them. You know, the gods of the universe, for heck's sakes. Joke's on us, huh? We are the gods of the universe. We're also the other end of that, too. The tail end of it, the flea on the cat's tail, man. Clear to the end. A little of both, don't you know? That's the Coyote medicine. That's the Coyote way. It's the ultimate joke. And when you finally see it, when you finally receive it and be it, oh, babies, from then on, it's in the fields of life you play. It's lightness, not darkness. It's not so shadowy anymore. It's not so shady and sleazy and scuzzy and mean. It's sweet. Not sour. It's natural. It flows, you know. And you don't have to have another with you for that to be happening. You can have everyone with you, you know, and you do. We're all joined in it, you know. Each one of us is a Jesus of our own right. Each one of us has sacrificed ourselves in a whole bunch of lives for the service of others. Many times over. We've all done that, you know. And so now, babies, we can honor ourselves for it and let go of the sting. You know, the punishment that we gave ourselves. Oh, are we students or what? We're just learning, you know, how not to dispense out such things, how to equitize energies, how to be in that state of equity appreciatively so it's never let go of, so that life then uniformly expands. And it's just a conscious ecstatic feeling that I describe as the contented orgasm. You take it as you will, and it's an explosion of love, a cosmic explosion of love that's very organized. It's almost the reverse of what you see in the A-bomb, you know. This is the other way. This is creation just expanding ever outward and recreating itself, even when it bumps the mic, recreating itself all the way throughout the reality, expansion of heart, conscious truth, arising from where? This human consciousness that is so unsevered from the heart of the earth. Yes, indeed, the earth that gives us birth again and again, lifetime after lifetime, through whose sun heart we pass when we journey to and fro. That's from where we extend. See, that's where all of our energies are contained, in the heart. The sun at the heart of the universe, the sun at the heart of the earth, the center of the earth. You symbolize it as kind of a molten magma core. That's what the scientists say. But what it is sun. Sun in everything, see. We restricted it down inside of the earth to hide it for ourselves for a while as we went through this age of shadow, this age of pain and darkness, and all the harsh stuff. Ain't we a bunch of mother trucking babies, man, I tell you. Oh, ho, ho, and away we go. It's New Year's Eve day, baby, and we have come out to play the Koyote medicine everywhere, becoming all too apparent in this reality as what was invisible before now is plainly seen. Age of truth means dawn of revelation. Revelation is then seeing that truth. That's what's revealed in revelation, truth, you see. And babies, we're under the protection of angels, because angels are our family. They're a part of this unraveling mystery that we call history, and it was really kind of a piece of crap. But watch how it melts down in the sun, becomes something so big, the richest soil ever there was, from which now the flowers can grow. You got to understand that. That's why I refer to it constantly as a piece of shit, etc. So you remind yourself what that really is. That's richness of experience. And when you meld it down to its basic elements, it's the richest soil there could ever be for plants and flowers to blossom forward from. You see, the roots go down in that and say, happy, 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 and stay that way forever. They're full of light and love because of the shit we went through, and then composted in moments like these down into its basic elements and saw the love in all of it, the essential nutrients that are in every experience of life. It's cosmic beyond belief. Every moment that we live is cosmic, connected. It's experienced by the truth of this whole reality. Every individual act that we perform, everything we go through, every moment we live is observed and participated in by the universe around us. Because it's our creation too. We live in its synchronicity. We walk through it in the shadow of not knowing, of not seeing, not caring in some instances. Many we've been taught to be bitter and mean. Oh, baby, that all melts away now as you see how it truthfully is. You want to live in a bitter, mean world? Well, that's what you created around you. You want to be in soft and sweet. And you're not a victim ever, by the way. If you devolved into victimhood, you took a burden for somebody else, and you're making it a blessing now. And you can bless yourself for it, because you're never really a victim. Everything here is voluntary. I know it doesn't seem that way, but it is. At the heart level, as you begin to live this now more consciously, you'll see what I mean. It just flows. We just be in this particular play because that's the way the flow took us. And when the flow takes us somewhere else, guess what? We're going to the ocean of love. We're on our way, babies. We're flowing with it, in other words. We ain't fighting the current no more. We're in that flow. We're part of that divine union called the river, and where the river merges with the mighty ocean, man. The river of love, the ocean of love, all conveyed forward in truth, 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 Things are, pay attention to outward appearances, and see beyond them. Know that the cosmic exactly active in every being that lives, no matter how asinine their presence may seem in this moment in time. Give it 5 seconds, it'll clear, and they'll clear inside of themselves. And from the greatest assholes come some of the sweetest hearts, the most gracious beings you ever saw. Because that's their true nature. That's what they're covering up with, their asinine behavior. You see? That's their cover. That's their toughness. That's what's getting them through life. Be an asshole, it's basically screw before be screwed. And basically that kind of attitude, But immediately, as the person realizes the conscious presence of their truthful love inside, you're no longer going to reside in such a protective place. You don't have to be over-aggressive to live here. A little overly loving would help, and definitely overly gracious would be really beautiful, and therefore that's what comes real inside, because that's the reality the person's trying to cover up by being an asshole. Simple as that. I know, I've done it too. Everybody has, one way or another, you see. We've all been harsh on ourselves, most especially, and then you can't help but pick on others because you feel so goddamn bad about yourself, Some of us are taught from the time we're tiny to hold this heavy judgment over ourselves, because we'll never measure up to the divine measurement of the Christed and enlightened ones and all that shit. Well, they were more human than you are, man, or me either, man. Those dudes and dudettes, geez, they live in the crap probably deeper than most, because that's the path of a saint. You get tests and trials. You get, murdered and butchered and beat up and all kinds of shit, just so you can carry forward. I mean, that's the path of the prophets and prophetesses, or whatever you want to call them, the hearts that carry forward in the energetic love of reality and perform truthful things here, just so people can be provided with little contrast through the generations, another sign of hope. I'm sure they latch onto them wrongly and all that kind of crap. Who the hell cares? The energy gets through, That's what's important. People maintain that attitude so they can get through. They see some reason to be, some reason to live. They got something in the darkest moment to hang on to. And that's not wrong. That's a beautiful thing. Even if it's a crutch, it's a beautiful crutch, man. Even if it's like brainwashing and mind control, your intention purifies that shit. So whatever you do becomes a pure act, whether they dictate it or not. It's an act of your conscious caring. Therefore, it's okay for you to be there and do that if that's what you choose, if that's what's real for you, and it makes it a little more real for everyone else too. Hell, recognize that. You're a pace setter, you see. You're the one that teaches the other ones how to run the marathon, and get it right. Because you're paced just right, and you can share that pace with everyone, in any way you casually choose to allow it, Usually you just do it by example, just by running a tiny bit ahead of the pack and just pacing yourself. And the pack starts to look and say, wow, hey, look at that. And he's not tired. We are. Maybe we should start pacing ourselves too. You see, and then one catches on. Of course, it catches on, from the people up at the front of the thing, and then it ripples on back to the lower echelons, as we call them. It ain't anything like that. It's just where you are in the race. It's a human race. Going around a great big track we call time, man. And we just came to the finish line, We're finishing up. We're getting ready to go shower off and get our accolades. In fact, they want to see us naked this time. I'm not so sure I'm going to do that, though. I think that's a bit too much divine revelation all at once for the people to handle, don't you? I do. Now, if it was a chick, might be different. But I mean, I've stood on a street corner in a skirt for hours and nobody stopped and offered me $50 for a good time. Shit. We know how to live this life colorfully, baby. I'm just kidding. I've never done that. But in a metaphorical sense, I have. Hell yeah, I've had a lot of fun with this life, And now that I'm beginning to realize, I'm sure glad I let myself grow through a few years before I turned myself loose like this. It would have been dangerous back in those days. It's a good thing I found some restrictions, These days, I can flow into it like the mellow little bum that I am. The atomic hobo, knocking on your door saying, hey, can I share a little love with you to get some good food and shit like that? Or, what you got for me here today, baby? Happy little housewife that you are. The hobo of love, the happy hobo of the heart, man. I've been mystically journeying this reality so dang much lately. Geez, I feel like the hobo again, but thank God I don't have to ride on a cold old freight train or, get caught up trying to get hitchhiked down the highway and the cops are always harassing you, etc. Shoot, this time I'm free. So are you. So inside of me, we're all there free, don't you see? Inside of me, inside of you, it's inside of each and every one of us too. All of us together, It is a united effort, an act of the collective heart, of course. What else would it be, But Mary coming forward, merrily, as she has always been, as she shall always be. Now that's a symbolic and maybe metaphorical thing, yes. But it's the reality we live in, it's the word we've chosen to carry us through, see. Jesus, us, and Mary too, because Mary was the one. Always has she been. She carried the energy through the generations, man, in disguise, the same as the rest of us, too. And here we are, these moments of divine revelation, where the truth comes forward. Oh, babies. Aren't we pleasantly surprised by what we're seeing in each other, guys? Ooh, isn't it sweet to be alive and kicking it into overdrive? Are we the jolly old elves that Santa Claus always dreamed of having, that were real cooperative and build everything just right? Hell yeah, darlings. We're still in that old crapshoot of love, and we're still coming up sevens, made in heaven. There's no way we can lose. Oh, Magoo, you've done it again. Right here on the Coyote Medicine Show.